you see, 45% bet, 55% check, 9-7 of diamonds, more check than bet, but nearly 40% bet, so I don't think a mistake is being made by betting here in this spot. We go 15, both the button and the big blind call, turns the queen of diamonds, giving us the flush, and now the big blind checks it over. And in this spot, I wasn't really sure what to do. I figured maybe a small bet was okay, maybe a check was okay. I really didn't know, so I decided to check here. And now the button goes 35 and the big blind calls. So we see here in equilibrium on this turn, our range is split. Mostly small bet or checking. I was correct there, but 9-7, if you give it the op.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
This universe calls on me to protect it. Yet.
Oh, they're calling this the Gold's worst thing. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. I heard Sneeko freak the fuck over this. I'm going to see what this...
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My father would have loved to see Wakanda reaching the stars.
Healing power. Feel my power. Healing power. Help here.
The widow's biting.
Hey, need some love over here. Whoa.
Keep going!
Quantum magic. Stick together.
Oh, here they are now.
Cosmic light returns.
Just embrace the light!
Healing
Born again!
The cosmos heals you.
I am Asgard Might!
Born again!
Cosmic light returns. Second chances over.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
You made me do this. Healing power.
Nice.
feel better already.
There's a way to do this. Where we won't stand idly by.
Some assistance, please. Healing tower. We are in this together. The cosmos heals you.
Much better. There is doubt.
Cosmic might return. There's still so much to do.
Get that vehicle moving again!
Quantum magic.
Born again!
Please, we're hurt.
I require some aid. Quantum magic.
Maybe this to be free too. You're ready. A nice deep breath. A nice deep
Born again!
It's the grand finale! Get that vehicle moving again!
Remember it all too well. Quantum magic. I require some aid.
Ready. Here come the bad guys.
Cosmic might return.
Born again!
The collector got greedy. Time to quantum magic.
Only 60 seconds left.
Healing power. We are in this together.
Push through! I sense them. Close.
Cosmic
Get
might.
that vehicle moving again! Down to 30 seconds. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I will bring peace to this universe, no matter the cost. This time, Ultron, your nanobots will not enslave me. They will set
30
us all
seconds before you
free.
attack. Get ready.
The odds that we would become allies were 7.35 quintillion to 1, Warlock.
Yet here you are, fighting for the good of all. Have you finally developed the equivalent of a soul?
Negative. Souls are flawed by programming.
The battle starts in 5,
That statement
4,
alone proves how
3,
far from perfect you
2,
still are, my friend.
1.
We're going to Avengers Tower? Oh,
They think they shall be victorious.
Here they come! Healing power! I feel better already. Some assistance, please. Quantum magic.
Systems restored.
We are in this together. Stronger together.
put some pep in my step.
The cosmos heals you.
Hey, my favorite robot. Let's do this, buddy.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Spider bomb.
If you wish to survive, you must prepare me.
We are in this together. My
More than I
cosmic
have
light
to.
returns.
The better one.
Our foes have arrived.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Healing power. I require some aid.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Oh, sucks to be you.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Would be good.
100% of turret.
Healing power. I am
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Perhaps your splinters will grow into something better, Groot.
Double KO.
I require some aid.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. Disappear!
Incoming! I will help lead you to Avengers Quantum Magic.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
Ultron reigns supreme.
You are safe now, my friend.
Fire mode.
Cosmic might returns.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Donate, fools.
I will bring peace to this universe.
When I
no
made
matter
my
the
first
cost.
video on God of War, it was a think piece that was made to highlight the character of Kratos, because the public misconception, specifically in the realms of online games journalism, aka the corpse that keeps on twitching, I found, was that people like to claim that Kratos in the original run of God of War games was nothing more than a
Ultron is
brutish
not
monster
here,
with the
but I
character
still
depth of a
feel his
spoon.
presence.
I disagreed
I
and made a
remember it
video
all too
discussing
well.
what I felt were the hidden depths of his character. Some things that were patently bloody obvious,
seconds
some
before
things
you
that were
attack.
hidden and
Get
required a
ready.
bit of reading between the lines, and some things that were hidden away in the excellent prequel games that apparently nobody really played. But there was naturally some pushback, which I expected, a lot of which came down to this. How could you possibly say that Kratos is a deep character?
Are you certain you are up to the task?
So far, so good. And the battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
This time I need healing.
Systems restart. Turret is injured. Make it!
Cosmic might returns.
Thanks for the boost. Healing power. That'll be again. Stronger together. Medical support.
I am at your service.
The cosmos heals me. Quantum magic. I am strengthened for battle.
I feel better already.
My spirit's filled.
You are safe now, my friend.
I really needed that.
Quantum magic.
There you are. Help get that vehicle to its destination.
The one I need healing. Quantum magic. Quantum magic.
My cosmic might returns.
The cosmos heals you. I am strengthened for battle. I do this my way.
We are undefeatable!
Stronger together.
It's up to us to get the towers to shoreline.
Tremble before fast!
The cosmos heals you.
I feel better already.
Born again!
Medical support.
Destiny awaits.
Healing power. I am strengthened for battle. I'm good to go. The cosmos heals you.
Spirit's filled.
Cosmic might returns.
I am Phoenix!
Quantum magic.
You are safe now, my friend.
Born again!
You chose your path.
This time I need healing. unleash the Vishanti's power!
Healing power.
Heads up! Born again!
Quantum magic.
Tremble before fast!
Second chance is over. Cosmic might returns.
We need to recover.
With both of our magics together, Stephen, our foes.
Voltron is not as evil, but I still feel his presence.
We are undefeatable!
Healing power.
I am strengthened for battle.
Some assistance, please.
Castle went down fighting.
The cosmos heals you.
I appreciate you.
We are blessed to be in your presence.
Quantum magic. Quantum magic.
Good medicine. Much better.
I like the cold. Some help.
Castle went down fighting.
Destiny awaits. Quantum magic.
Enemies on you.
Thanks so much.
I require some aid. My cosmic might returns. Healing power.
Good medicine. Born again!
Protection is the cosmos heals you. You are not alone.
Go well, medium. Our time is running.
The cosmos heals you. That is much better.
Only 60 seconds left.
More fruit's always with me. You'll see what
I am strengthened for battle.
You're ready for it.
Go well, medium. I unleash the Vishanti's power.
We are undefeatable! Down to 30 seconds. Final 10 seconds.
Born again!
Nowhere yet. Going to overtime.
You're welcome.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Voltron is not here, but I still feel his
30
presence.
seconds before you attack.
I remember
Get
it all
ready.
too well. You're a shooter like me.
There's no shooter like me, buddy.
Never figured I'd have something in common.
The year is
with
2026, and if you're a console manufacturer, then you are not in the happiest of place. Tech prices across the board have risen precipitously in just a few short months on account of the so-called RAM-pocalypse. Of course, spurred on by Silicon Valley's seemingly voracious freaking hunger for memory required for AI data centers and all this nonsense across the globe. It doesn't matter whether you think AI is on the rise or it's a bubble that's going to burst any day now, because either way, right now, all silicon is earmarked for this stuff. It is sold. So if you are a console maker, then you're low priority at best for these chip makers. They want them for the AI data centers and all that stuff. Enterprise and business hardware pay a premium, and the RAM gold rush is on. So I guess that leaves little room for the consumer market here when you have Valve, one of the more profitable tech companies in the world, getting big leagued by RAM companies. Then what hope does anyone have? Seriously, this is a direct quote from a Valve employee. Quote, look, there's no contract, there's nothing. Like, those guys, they give us a price every month or something, and they say, you can buy that many, and it's yes or no. And if we say no, then they never talk to us again. This is the tech world we're living in right now, man. Times seem to be tough for the games business, seemingly, despite all the money that has them. So we're looking at new upcoming consoles like Xbox's Project Helix, and more specifically for this video, the PS6. And we're asking the question, is this thing doomed from the start? Is it DOA? It's me, Jake, so let's just talk about this. It is possible, even likely, that companies like Sony have more of a working relationship with memory companies, but I gotta imagine that their situation is still precarious here. I mean, just look at how much the PS5 has increased in price in the last 2 years alone. The Pro released in 2024 for $700 US dollars, and it's now sitting at $900. That is $200 more. And the standard PS5 prices have jumped by a lot too. Xbox as well, Nintendo as well. No one is safe from this. Price increases are pretty uniform across the whole console industry. These are massive jumps in costs that are already having a pretty devastating effect on console sales. Both Sony and Xbox reported their lowest ever sales for the month of May. PlayStation was hit hard here, according to Circana. PS5 spending fell significantly. And just announced, kissing off the section of gamers, PlayStation announced physical games will no longer be a thing starting in 2020. PlayStation games for the entire platform will not be printed on discs. Obviously, players are buying more games digitally, but a section of gamers still prefer physical. They want the choice, as was their right. Now, the shift to the all-digital future spells a lot for the next console. And at the very least, I think it's safe to assume the PS6 is not going to come with a disc drive, but who knows? We'll probably tackle the whole physical media thing more in another video soon. But all of this spells trouble for the, as of yet unannounced, next-gen console. Again, specifically here, PS6. It really is like this perfect storm of hardware. And at least according to many analysts, these issues are likely to continue at least up to 2027. Definitely, probably longer than that. Which is kind of a problem because we are now 6 years into this particular console generation. The PS4 ran for 7 years, 2013 to 2020, if you remember. Then the PS3's generation was 6 years, and the PS2's was also just 6 years. So, you know, because like, these things do take a few years to make behind the scenes, and, you know, conceptualize that Sony is definitely thinking about or somewhat working on PS6 already. If the rumors are to be believed, then definitely more than just thinking about this. It seems like the specs are certainly already figured out. So therein lies the problem.
I am ready to put on a show!
Why the PS6 could have a pretty rough launch. Sony only really has two options. They either push forward with their current plan, stick to the plan, you know, cost be damned, or delay and see if hardware prices go down until the end of the decade. And it feels like either choice could be pretty dangerous. Here's the thing with making consoles, right? Like, there's a reason why only some of the biggest tech companies in the world can do a full court press release of these things. Because the logistics of building tens of hundreds of thousands of custom-built complex pieces of tech and then release them on a global scale is possible only for like the biggest players in the game. Like, I know there are all these like cool boutique console makers who make mini consoles and emulation machines and stuff like that, but their production runs are microscopic compared to the scale of companies like Xbox, Sony, Nintendo. Like, just compare the sale of Valve's Steam Deck to PlayStation Vita. The deck is considered by most to be a success, and has so far sold between 6 to 8 million units, and it's been influential. The PlayStation Vita, in comparison, is estimated to have sold between 15 to 16 million units, and it's generally regarded by some as a failure. Obviously not the players. I still use my PlayStation Vita sometimes, but to Sony, the money men, yeah. And speaking of Valve, like, I'm not trying to trash talk them here. They intentionally released a limited run of it. It's not like they were expecting to sell Steam Decks in Walmart or something. It didn't seem like that was the goal. But the difference here is that Sony are selling their products in the mass market. If a PlayStation 6 launches, it has to be everywhere. And that means a lot of planning and a lot of deals made with factories, hardware manufacturers, and retail stores to get the necessary parts in the system and on store shelves. That takes a lot, and there needs to be a lot of runway. That means if Sony is planning to launch the PS6 for, say, holiday season 2027, right, then it really is too late for them here. The cost of production is going to be massive, getting that machine moving. Now, according to a particular leaker, whether you're sure about it, BOM, or quote-unquote bill of materials, for the PS6 has gone up a whopping $200 just since March of this year. It's been 3 months, and that's how much prices have spiked. And it doesn't even cover all the expenses that go into making a PlayStation console. That's just the cost of material, if actually true. It doesn't include like the labor cost, testing, the marketing, or any of that others. There's a reason why so many are afraid that we may be looking at a $1,000 PS6, or possibly even more. That's double the cost of the PS5 in 2020. I don't think I need to say how bad that would look for Sony if they launched at that price point. Anyone but the most hardcore console owners will immediately balk at that price. It's a frankly absurd amount to pay for a Sony console. Even if you look at the reality of where things are right now, it still just doesn't feel right. Consumers are trained to expect vastly different prices. They've been trained for decades. Now, the best case scenario in this situation is that Sony would heavily subsidize the cost of the console, which could drop it down to a slightly more acceptable price, maybe $800, $900. Look, Sony is one of the few console makers that were actually capable of subsidizing costs and engaged in the loss leader strategy. The PS5, even back in 2020, was being made at an estimated $200 loss when it launched. And even with rising costs, I'm pretty sure they're still eating a lot of the expenses on consoles even now. But it seems like that is going to end this strategy, because Sony just announced publicly that they will not be significantly subsidizing upcoming hardware like they have in the past. Things are changing all around. They've cited market conditions and stuff that we've talked about as stating, quote, not realistic to afford these extra costs. So expect the next console to, probably cost as much as a high-end smartphone. The bigger thing, like, I question how many people want a PS6 in 2027. I think a lot of players are happy to stick with the current generation for a few more years. Remember the price and scalping situation when the PS5 launched? Like, a lot of people didn't even get started with PS5 on day one. Some only got their hands on one a few years ago. Hell, we're 6 years in, and it kind of feels like the PS5 has barely got off the runway. The system has, pretty sorely lacked some exclusives. Naughty Dog, Sony's biggest studio, hasn't put out a new game this generation. the Sony live service push has been mostly a failure. So much time wasted. It feels like for every massive amount of money they dump into a failed live service game, we could have had like 2 cool traditional regular PlayStation games. So much time and money wasted and not enough games to really show for it. And we've got a PS5 Pro now, and that's still pretty generally solid in terms of hardware, especially as developers embrace it. I think most PlayStation fans would be fine with a slightly extended console generation if that meant that the PS6 could launch in a slightly more financially solid state. But you know, that's wishful thinking at this point. Many are suggesting to delay this thing to 2030 when, hopefully, fingers crossed, the RAM shortage and overall the hardware scarcity maybe starts to cool down. Could lead to a cheaper console, but there are problems with this scenario. Even if you're assuming that the prices do start going down. We know that PCs are a growing market and consoles are, in some ways, especially with the hardcore crowd, struggling to keep up. Certain analysts are predicting that the PC market is primed to surpass the console market by 2020. I don't know for sure, but a lot of people are being pushed in this direction. In 2025, PC-centric gaming revenue grew by 6.6%, while consoles only grew by 4.4%. There are a lot of reasons why this is happening, but like one of the biggest is that emerging markets like China are actually primarily PC players for many reasons. Consoles just aren't as, I guess, readily acceptable or accessible in some of these places, and with the way things are going, it's going to be very difficult for consoles to catch up in those large markets unless they devote a lot of time and energy trying to win over those markets. Xbox, you know, for all the things they say, the back and forth, it seems like their next console, the Project Helix, is also going to embrace Windows and PC gaming in some way. But on the Sony side, if they don't want to get surpassed by PC, then it feels like they need to act now, not later. But if they do act now, then again, the cost of their consoles will be prohibitively high for the consumer base that's actually growing instead of shrinking. It's a catch-22. Like, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. And at least from our perspective here on the Game Ranks team, it's hard to picture like a way out of this that's clean. Maybe they need to pivot to something like you know, the new long-rumored PlayStation handheld device that they're potentially working on. Making a handheld isn't exactly some like mind-blowing paradigm shift anymore. They'd essentially just be playing Wii 2 with Nintendo Switch and Steam Deck, but at least it's a possible direction that they could pursue for now. We know that PlayStation is pivoting back to console exclusives and giving up those PC ports, I guess in an attempt to draw people back into the Sony ecosystem and this walled garden, especially now when it doesn't have discs. But it's unclear how effective this move will be. To us, it kind of feels like they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. At least they're in a better position than Xbox, you know, with whatever studios getting closed and games getting canceled. But who knows what the correct move is, considering the current hardware situation we're in. Along with that, we also know that Sony's digging their heels in and they're sticking to that live service strategy, despite, again, those multiple high-profile failures and the recently underperforming Marathon from the studio that was meant to be the crown jewel of Sony's live service empire, Bungie, which is now in 2026 a shadow of its former self. They're sticking to the plan despite the entire universe and a significant portion of their customer base telling them not to, which may be a big preview for how the PS6 launch might go. Now look, it might sound gloom and doom and disastrous, but at this point, it just seems like Sony's only option is to not delay and to push forward with the PS6 launch. At least if the rumors are true and the plan is to release for the 2027 holiday season. If that was the initial plan, then delaying will probably only make things worse, eating up tons of costs on their back end with no promise that hardware prices will actually go down. I mean, what happens if Sony did decide to wait until 2029 or 2030 for the PS6 and prices only get worse? Then they'd be double screwed. And again, some of these RAM makers have signed at least 5-year agreements to keep prices where they are. I don't actually think Sony is going to wait that far down the line, but you know, it's not impossible. It also makes sense for them to launch in 2027 just in terms of value, I guess, right? Nvidia isn't putting out new consumer cards in 2026, but technology continues to march forward. So the longer Sony waits to release, the worse the specs on the PS6 look. Launching in 2026 offers the best value proposition, according to certain insiders, and And if the plan is to release in 2027, then it's hard to argue with that. If console production is already in the pipe, then the longer they wait to release, the more outdated that console is going to look. If the SKUs are set and the manufacturing orders are already in place, I feel like Sony at this point is going to go through with this launch, despite everything. Yes, the console will be too expensive and probably won't launch with a disc drive, so that's another expense on top of everything else. But like, it's probably better for them to have a console out and remain competitive in the market rather than just give up and let prices rise and let PC take over. I don't know. We personally don't have any skin in the game here. We play on all consoles, but we're just saying this from like Sony's perspective. We're looking at it from like what they could be doing. Of course, just hardware isn't the only factor. If they are going to launch in 2027, then there needs to be like this killer launch lineup to actually get people excited about the thing. And that's the hardest part. It seems like Sony hasn't really been living up to that in recent years with the PS5. So will they be able to do that with a PS6 to get people to play? I don't know. Is there a path forward for the PlayStation 6 to find success? Probably. I mean, like, if the initial launch is poor, then they might be able to get things back on track in the long run. Like, suffer up front, have the hardcore people buy this thing for $1,000 and then just hope things get better. I don't know. The PS3 was completely eclipsed by the Xbox 360 in the first years of that generation, but it was able to slowly crawl its way back up to being a sales success. Even if, like, hypothetically, if the PC does eventually surpass consoles, I think there will still be room for PlayStation in some capacity, of course. Ultimately, I think they need to play their unique strengths. They need to bring back that sensitive point, that unique PlayStation vision that made the PS1 and PS2, and even PS3 to a point, feel like this, like, revelation. If that means focusing on a slightly less powerful console, then so be it. Finding any way to cut costs has got to be a priority for them. It probably is. The PS6 is in a very difficult situation right now, and honestly, do not see an easy way out for them. For now, at least, I don't foresee the PS6 being the end of Sony in the console business. I think we'll have to wait probably for like the PS7 to see how things check out then to know for sure. Ultimately, I just want more games, and just make good games. Don't bungle this and just give us good things. Look, in conclusion, I don't know if the PS6 is already doomed, but I think the reality is that the PS6 is definitely doomed to our wallets. It's going to cost a lot more than people expect. Kind of a downer ending, I know, but like that's just where we're at right now. This is where I hope different innovation comes in. Creative ways to maximize and pull the most out of what people already have. If people are priced out of high-end PCs and new consoles, there needs to be innovation with current technology, be it services, upgrades, but also the games themselves. I just hope that as the future of hardware looks sketchy and uncertain and maybe even potentially stagnating, that maybe it'll give more times for games themselves to innovate and grow. You know, the whole theory of scarcity or desperation breeding ingenuity and creativity? I think gaming could use some of that right now. And I hope that's a positive thing that can come from this whole mess. I don't know if that's wishful thinking. I'm a glass half full type guy, but that's where we're at for now. We just wanted to yap about the PlayStation 6, so let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think this thing is doomed, dead on arrival because of the current market situations? Let's talk. If you like this video, clicking the like button helps us. We really appreciate it. We put out videos every single day, so buckle up. But thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Chaos. I won't let that happen again.
Secrets revealed.
When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
It's clear this generation will not be defined by the incredible games that released during the PS5 and Series X's life cycle. Instead, the 9th console generation will be defined by corporate greed, mismanagement, and anti-consumer practices that could very well alter the course of the games industry itself. I can't think of a more accurate summary, or an article that better encapsulates the state of AAA gaming. Give a round of applause for Brian Shea of Game Informer, who wrote this just 2 days after PlayStation's most recent announcement that they were going to end physical video game production. And today, Do you like owning things?
You think you do, but you don't.
This console generation has genuinely felt like both Xbox and Sony have been racing to rock bottom. But who knew rock bottom had multiple bases? It's like finding out this color darker than pitch black. Like your mind can't really comprehend that. Neither can I comprehend how awful things have gotten with Xbox and PlayStation over just the last 6 years. Right when you think Xbox can't be out shit about it. Okay, now raising there's no way. And then boom, PlayStation comes along and says, okay, hold my diarrhea. Yeah, folks, it turns out there's more than one diarrhea out there now. Until Office Armor came around, all Xbox had done in the past 3 years was shut down multiple studios, lay off tens of thousands of employees. They canceled a bunch of games and raised the price of every single product and service that they offer. And yet somehow, what PlayStation has done just recently has made them public enemy #1. The best way to describe the ninth generation of Cosmic Might is to say it has become a clown show. A never-ending stream of chaotic, disorganized management blunders resulting in entirely negative consequences for gamers, consumers, and all the folks who make video games. You know, back when retail became popular, and that felt like the worst thing ever. It felt like we were fighting against one shitty business practice. But here, in the year 2026, this isn't just a battle that we can win with our wallets. This is a war against the idea of ownership.
If they want war, we'll give them war.
Who knows, if we're lucky, maybe we'll have the luxury of being able to pay for the air that we breathe too. And before we jump into it, this video is sponsored by Watcher of Realms, a fantasy strategy game where you can unlock, upgrade, and choose the heroes you send into battle as you fight against the undead legions, gigantic lizard men, and take part in epic raid bosses, and even a boss rush mode. The game is filled with stunning cinematics, and if I freeze frame right here, you can see exactly what I'm doing. Yes, you can recruit a team entirely of baddies or go all in on the himbos. It's up to you. You can even recruit Sun Wukong himself. Watcher of Realms is constantly adding new races and characters to the game, like the Seraphim. Both angels and demons are yours to select. And you can really appreciate their designs as the game's focus on high visual fidelity and graphical quality. Watcher of Realms is celebrating its 3rd anniversary by giving a free legendary hero to new and returning players. And if you use the promo code FREEEPIC3rd, you'll get to choose one of 2 new epic heroes. Not to mention you'll get a ton of other free rewards, skins, and upgrades materials to get you started on your journey. If you download Watcher of Realms using that link in the description, you can play it for free, whether you play on PC, Android, or iOS. Use that link in the description to download and play Watcher of Realms today. Don't forget to use the promo code, and thank you Watcher of Realms for sponsoring this video. After investing heavily in massive slots like Encore, PlayStation's attempt to restrict access to Helldivers 2 to only those who were able to link their PSN account, the way they shut down Bluepoint Games, who had only released bangers as far as I'm concerned, off the heels of the Stop Killing Games initiative, which got over 1.3 million signatures. Not to mention the surging costs of essential components like RAM, CPUs, and storage, which have driven up the prices of every single console and every single computer over the last 2 years.
Here.
I shit you not, the 128 gigabytes of RAM I purchased just 2 years ago has quadrupled in price. Unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times, and we expect another doubling by the end of fall of 2027. Everything is getting more expensive.